Gucci is one of the hottest fashion brands in the world, boasting an estimated value of $22.6 billion. However, what began as a humble family business quickly spiraled into a dark and shocking saga filled with betrayal, family feuds, lawsuits, and even murder. Underneath the glamour of the fashion world, the Gucci family faced trials that would shock even the most seasoned observers. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey through Gucci's insane and controversial history. Gucci was born and raised in Florence, Italy, immersed in the world of fashion from an early age. His parents owned a straw hat shop, which instilled in him a keen eye for luxury and craftsmanship. However, financial struggles forced the family business into bankruptcy, leaving Gucci penniless. At just 18, he moved to London, where he found work at the prestigious Savoy Hotel. During his time there, Gucci observed the rich and famous guests who frequented the hotel. They carried exquisite leather goods and traveled with expensive luggage, items that were not just practical, but symbols of status. This sparked an idea in Gucci. If he could create high-quality leather goods, he could cater to the affluent and potentially become wealthy himself. After his stint at the hotel, he took a job with Wagonlits, a company that serviced travelers. Here, he learned even more about luxury luggage and began to understand the type of designs that would appeal to the upper class. Despite his ambitions, he recognized that establishing his own business would require years of hard work and experience. After serving in World War I, Gucci returned to Florence and got a job in a leather goods workshop, acquiring invaluable skills. By 1921, at the age of 40, he had saved enough money to open his own shop in Florence, marking the humble beginnings of what we now know as Gucci. Initially, Gucci imported leather goods, but demand quickly shifted toward handmade, uniquely designed pieces. He began to create handbags and shoes, hiring a team to help meet the growing demand. However, with expansion came financial strain, and Gucci found himself in considerable debt. In a moment of desperation, he took a loan from his son-in-law to keep the business afloat. As Gucci aged, he relied on his three sons, Aldo, Rodolfo, and Vasco, to help run the business, expecting them to carry on the family legacy. At this point, Gucci was still a small operation, but his sons had ambitious dreams of taking the brand to new heights. While Gucci was focused on the leather goods business, his sons envisioned a much larger operation. They convinced their father to open a second store in Rome, which turned out to be a lucrative decision, particularly during World War II, when soldiers sought gifts for their loved ones back home. By the 1950s, Gucci had expanded enough to open a third store in Milan. In 1953, the brothers set their sights on the United States, traveling to New York City to scout locations for their first American store. However, just 2 weeks after the store opened, Gucci passed away from a heart attack, leaving his sons to navigate the business's future without their father's guidance. Gucci left the company to his three sons, excluding his daughter Grimalda from his will. This exclusion ignited a bitter family feud, as Grimalda fought her brothers in court but ultimately lost. Despite this, the expansion into the US market was a turning point for Gucci, establishing it as the first luxury Italian brand in New York City and elevating its status among Hollywood celebrities. For a time, Aldo and Rodolfo managed the company without major issues. However, tragedy struck in 1974 when Vasco passed away, leaving his shares to his wife. Aldo and Rodolfo bought her out, each owning 50% of the company. They opened the first Gucci flagship store in Hong Kong, capitalizing on the growing Asian market. By 1975, Gucci had diversified its offerings, launching a fragrance line and expanding its product range beyond leather goods. While Gucci was flourishing, the foundation was laid for the family drama that would unfold in the coming years. Aldo Gucci had three sons, Giorgio, Roberto, and Paolo, and he allocated shares of the company to each of them. Meanwhile, Rodolfo held onto his 50% stake, refusing to give any shares to his only son Maurizio. The Gucci family dynamic became increasingly contentious as the cousins vied for control of the brand. With the aging of Aldo and Rodolfo, arguments over the company's leadership intensified. In 1972, Maurizio married Patrizia Reggiani, a woman infamous for her lavish lifestyle and relentless ambition. Patrizia had a keen interest in the Gucci brand, often showcasing it at social events. As their marriage progressed, Patrizia exerted pressure on Maurizio to become the CEO of Gucci. This created tension between him and his father, who viewed Patrizia as a social climber. Maurizio, blinded by love, ignored his father's warnings. The couple had two daughters, but the relationship between Maurizio and Rodolfo deteriorated. After Rodolfo's death, Maurizio inherited his father's shares, granting him significant control over the company. However, this newfound power only fueled further disputes among the family. Maurizio's vision for Gucci differed sharply from his cousins. While they pursued mass-market strategies, Maurizio aimed to restore the brand's exclusivity, pulling back on licensing deals that he felt diluted the brand's prestige. This decision, while risky, ultimately helped re-establish Gucci's reputation as a luxury brand, but the internal strife continued, with Paolo, the youngest cousin, feeling slighted and eager to prove himself as a designer. His frustration led him to betray his father, Aldo, by reporting him for tax evasion, resulting in Aldo's imprisonment. In a desperate bid for recognition, Paolo attempted to launch his own fashion line but faced immediate backlash from the family, who worried about the potential damage to the Gucci brand. Despite spending millions on legal battles, his line failed, further exacerbating family tensions. With ongoing disputes and a desire for autonomy, Maurizio sought outside investors to gain more control of Gucci. In 1988, he successfully partnered with Investcorp, which bought a % stake in the brand. However, this arrangement alienated his family even further. While Maurizio was initially at the helm, he faced mounting pressure from Investcorp to turn the company around. In 1989, he hired Dawn Mello, a visionary designer, to help revitalize Gucci's image. Under her guidance, they drastically reduced the number of stores and products, focusing on quality over quantity. Mello reintroduced classic designs that had been neglected, which helped restore Gucci's allure. However, Maurizio's ambitious vision led him to make several missteps. He decided to eliminate the iconic GG logo, which had become synonymous with the brand and accounted for a significant portion of sales. This move, combined with his controversial decision to cut the accessories line, nearly drove Gucci to bankruptcy. Investcorp grew increasingly concerned as the company began losing millions. In 1993, they opted to buy out Maurizio's shares for $150 million. Ironically, shortly after his departure, Gucci's fortunes began to improve as consumer demand surged once again. Following his tumultuous exit from the family business, Maurizio's personal life took a dark turn. He and Patrizia finalized their divorce in 1994, and she struggled with the loss of status that came with the separation. Patrizia became increasingly erratic, leaving threatening messages for Maurizio and stalking him as he moved on with a new girlfriend, Paola. Fearing for her financial future, Patrizia plotted against Maurizio. In 1995, he was shot 3 times in the head in broad daylight while walking to his office. The murder sent shockwaves through the fashion world, and the investigation initially stalled as authorities explored various leads. 2 years later, the case broke open when police received an anonymous tip linking Patrizia to the crime. Investigators uncovered evidence that she had sought out a hitman to carry out the murder. During her trial, Patrizia wore designer Gucci outfits, showcasing her enduring connection to the brand, even in her darkest hour. Ultimately, she was sentenced to 29 years in prison, though she served only 18 before being released on good behavior. 1990s to today. In the aftermath of Maurizio's murder, Gucci entered a new era marked by significant changes. The brand hired Tom Ford as creative director, a move that reinvigorated its image and sales. Ford's designs resonated with a younger audience, and under his leadership, Gucci experienced a dramatic resurgence. Sales nearly doubled within a year, reaching $500 million as the brand regained its status as a luxury powerhouse. The absence of the family allowed for more cohesive leadership, enabling the brand to thrive without the constant infighting that had plagued it for years. In the late 1990s, Gucci became a publicly traded company, with Investcorp making a substantial profit on their initial investment. However, as the luxury market fluctuated, LVMH began buying shares in Gucci, leading to concerns about a potential takeover. Despite these challenges, Gucci continued to innovate, introducing a new accessories line that catered to a broader audience. Conclusion. Thanks for watching this video.